Okay, so we are once again basically new thing that I'm doing this year. We're going over and just basically looking over at all the games. I'm just gonna kind of talk about them, thoughts on them. Um, you know, there was actually some pretty good games, pretty decent games. Um, a couple of them I didn't think were gonna be that good. We could talk right away about this. We'll come back to the Thursday night game, but this Chicago Cincinnati game, it was good. But the only reason that Cincinnati actually came back and got in this game is because of taunting penalties and really because of just penalties in general. There was one penalty which was very blatant. Joe Burrow's running out of bounds, and he let one of the defenders actually hit him, and he fell over. And it was an automatic, I think, 15-yard penalty or whatever. It was on like a 3rd and 5 or something like that, and Joe Burrow didn't end up making the first down. And so that's pretty much the only reason why Cincinnati was actually in this game. There was a taunting penalty where 4 Bears. Well, I mean, you could argue this one honestly was a right taunting penalty because there was 4 Bears defenders standing over. I think it was Jamar Chase who dropped a pass. They're all kind of taunting him and they're standing over him. So you could honestly justify that when you have 4 people standing over one guy. As taunting. But really, that's so really the only reason why Cincinnati was in this. Washington and the Giants. I thought it was a pretty good game. It came down to the end where it was an offsides. The kicker actually missed it, but then he got a second chance because the Giants defender was offsides. So Washington ended up winning that game. Cleveland, Houston. I didn't watch really a lot of it. I know there's one highlight going around where I don't remember. I don't think it was Chubb. It might have been Chubb. I don't remember. One of the running backs for Cleveland like did a spin move, hit the B or circle button, and basically like 2 or 3 defenders fell, and then he just hit the Jets and went for a touchdown. So I've seen that play going on. I know Baker Mayfield got hurt and then came back. I did hear about that. But Houston kind of put up a fight. I mean, they kind of did. Rams, Colts. Carson Wentz got injured this game. Remember that. And then Jacoby Brissett came in one play and threw a pick. So, I thought it was a good game. I think at one point, it was like, was it like 17-3 at one point or something? Like, Rams were up pretty big most of this game, and then they just kind of played prevent defense and just kind of, let the Colts slowly get back into this game. So, I thought it was good. Again, I didn't watch too much of that, but I did see the ending. And I think, what was it, 4th quarter is when, it had to be like late 4th quarter. Buffalo, Miami. I did not watch a single snap of this. I know Tua. I think it was was it a rib injury? I believe. I I didn't watch this game at all. I just saw the score. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't watch any of this game either. But Zach Wilson had 4 interceptions against the New England Patriots. So he had a rough day, really rough day. Then we get into San Francisco 49ers. I saw some of this. Very sloppy football, I guess, is what you would say. I think it was like 3-3 or 3-0 for most of the first half or something. It was something like that. It was very low scoring. First, part of the game, basically. Very sloppy football, and then San Francisco just ended up coming out on top because someone had to. So then we get to Raiders and Steelers. I thought this game was pretty good. I did. Henry Ruggs is really good, really fast player. Game-stealing touchdown at the end to make them go up 9 points. So, Raiders look good. Carr looked good. Obviously, T.J. Watt went out with a, I think it was like a groin or a leg injury, something like that. So hopefully he'll be back out there next week. There was a lot of injuries. Just like there was like I feel like one person from every game got injured. It was insane. But I enjoyed this game. I actually got to watch that. I think that was on CBS or whatever. So I did enjoy that game. Carolina Saints. The Saints go from blowing out the Packers to getting blown out themselves. It's frustrating. As a Packers fan, that's so frustrating to watch. God. Sam Darnold had a day. I'm glad he did. I'm really glad he did. I just want him to go off. I want him to go off. Just except against the Packers. I don't think they play the Packers unless we see them in the playoffs. But just go off against everyone else. Every team he plays. That's fine with me. Denver, Jacksonville. I think I heard there was Denver gave up like a 102-yard kick return or something like that. I think that's what I heard. I didn't really watch this game at all either because I didn't really care. People saying Denver is a contender already. No. You play the Giants, who are bottom 3, bottom 5 team in the NFL right now, and then you just play the Jags, and you only put up 23 points on the Jags, and then you let up a 102-yard kick return. Like, Denver is, they're Then we have the game of the week right here, Cardinals Vikings. At one point, it was 21-7. Minnesota was leading this game. This game was crazy. Kyler Murray doing his thing, running around the pocket, throwing to D-Hop deep down the field. I mean, this was it's a very entertaining game. This was easily game of the week right here. I didn't watch. I don't know. I think it's probably better than Baltimore Chiefs. I do think it is better. This was a lot of sloppy football, honestly, in that game. Well, not sloppy, but I just wasn't as entertained as I was by Cardinals Vikings game. So if you have not seen the highlights of this game, or if you record the game or whatever, go back and watch this because this was a very entertaining game. Came down to a Vikings kicker missing the field goal. Woo! There's actually someone already put up. You can actually find it on YouTube right now. The Vikings announcer, the radio announcer, actually thought that he made the kick at first. And then he realized, oh, wait, no, it's no good. So that was, I enjoyed that. If you have not seen that either, go search up the Vikings radio announcer for the Cardinals-Vikings game. You might get a chuckle out of it. Then Tampa, Atlanta, 2 pick sixes by, is it Mike Williams, I think it is his name? Deep in the fourth. This was obviously, I think it was like a 3-point game through most. I knew Tampa was never going to lose this. I didn't really think Falcons really had a chance, and then really defense just took over at the end. So Gronk had 2 touchdowns within the first, I want to say, 12 minutes of the game. Like he was he was going off. Tom Brady had, I believe, 5 touchdowns that game too, or something like that. Something like that, or 4. Maybe it was only 4 because there was 2 defensive. So, but that just you expect the Bucs to beat the Falcons. Then we had this was the most penalized game like ever. Like this game, there was I think like 20 flags in total or something like that. Like it was terrible. I didn't even see all of it. I missed some of it. So I kind of went back and watched the highlights of this. There's just so many penalties. It was kind of sloppy, but it was really, there's a dumb taunting penalty. There's, some weird, just a whole bunch of weird penalties. It's just like, it could go the other way. They didn't have to throw a flag there. It's just, when it gets sloppy like that with the the refs and whatnot, then it's just the game drags on and it gets worse and worse, and you're instantly just gonna have both fan bases say, okay, well, if we lose, then the refs cost us the game. Which I mean, when you have 20 plus penalties in total, I would feel the same way too. So it's just this game was good. I think it probably lived up to the hype, but it got so sloppy and just the rules and whatnot of this year. It's just stupid. It honestly is just very stupid. Then we have an OT thriller game. They actually played this game after Dallas Chargers. I actually got to see the basically the last minute or the last minute of the fourth quarter, and then all of OT. I got to watch of this game, so I got to watch the end of it. The announcer said Derrick Henry had, I think, 35 yards in the first half, and then exploded in the second half. I think he had, I think it was like 153 in total or something like that. He had 2 touchdowns, I believe, in the second half. King Henry showed up in the second half. He was not there in the first half, but he showed up in the second half. He got the game tying touchdown to make it 30 all to go into OT. So I got to catch the end of this game. I enjoyed it. I thought this was a very good game. The fact that it went into OT and then Titans just, end up winning, like that's crazy. So there could have been a safety. You could argue it could have been a safety on Russell Wilson. Ref said no. It ended up not mattering either way. Technically, again, safety or touchdown ends it. So, there could have been a safety. It could have been 32-30, but in the end, the Titans ended up winning, getting a field goal, so it didn't matter at all. But, if you go back and watch that play in OT, I mean, there's real argument to say that could have been a safety. Especially because it should have been intentional grounding too, because there was no wide receiver in the area that he threw to. At least that I can remember. I'd have to go back and watch him one more time. I don't think there was anyone at the top of the screen. But, it didn't matter in the end. That's my point. But, you can argue it. Then we have it was pretty good. It honestly was a pretty good game. Within the first 50 seconds, Lamar threw a pick six. It was 7-0 with 14-10 in the first quarter. So, just 50 seconds. I knew it was going to be a long game because you throw 50 seconds off the board and there's already a touchdown. It's just the first half just dragged on. And then I kind of walked away for basically the third quarter and then came back and was like, oh, Ravens early down. I think it was 28-24, something like that at the time or something like that. So I was like, oh, I guess watch the fourth quarter of this. And then there's a fumble recovery at the end that basically sealed the game. Well, 4th and 1. Lamar ran it to end the game. But basically the fumble recovery basically ended the Chiefs' drive, which basically, set up the Ravens to, get a first down and then win the game. So, I think there's a couple penalties. I don't remember penalty-wise here. But, I enjoyed it, but I don't think it would be a top 10 game of the year so far. Maybe. You got to put this game right here literally rivals Ravens Raiders. So those are the top 2 games. I would put this in top 5. I guess I mean you could argue this game. You could argue Bear. Well, I don't know if I'd argue Bears Rams. You could maybe argue this in the top. I'd have to go through 2 weeks. I'd have to go through and kind of figure out what games. But I don't know. I did and I didn't enjoy this game. So it just is what it is. Like that's all I'm gonna say. Now to wrap up things real quick. Obviously, I'm recording this. It is 12:18 right now at the time of recording this. We obviously have Packers game tonight in Lambeau. So I'm gonna have my breakdown for that tomorrow. We're gonna just talk about that tomorrow. We're gonna have my record. I'm actually doing very good right now. I am 10-4 right now. So if the Packers win, I'll be 11-4. If the Lions win, I'll be 10-5. So I'm hoping for 11-4 there. But I actually did very good picks wise this week. So, I did pick Cincinnati. I thought, it's my upset of the week. But so I could have been 11-3 right now, hoping for 12-3. But I picked Cincinnati. They were close. They brought it back in the end, but again, just sloppy with penalties. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up here. Again, tonight is the game. Tomorrow we'll have the breakdown of that game. Wednesday we are gonna have my picks. Thursday, something else. I don't know. Friday I'm gonna have a skit. I'm gonna do the just like I did last week, the NFC North skit. I'm gonna do that. If you have not seen those, I did those for the playoffs for the NBA. I did a bunch of those for each round. I figured here, since there's not 70 games, I'm going to do just the North throughout the regular season, and then we'll figure out what I'm going to do. I might do every team in the playoffs. We'll see. But for now, like the video, share the video around, don't subscribe, and I'm out of here.